First one, the GOP is the party of the working class. They really be having people believing. The top 1% got about 60% of that. They benefited about 60% of that. They already filthy rich. The bottom 60%, they got around 16%. Crumbs. And that's from the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office. Welcome back, man. If you're here, you made it to episode 2. Welcome back to WYSE WORDZ, bold talks, real topics, wise perspective. Last episode, we talked about people voting against their own interests. And I had a lot of people in the comments, man. I was, giving a little 2 cents. They said I ain't know nothing, told me to do more research, and, said I was a lost soul. And I responded accordingly, obviously, because we already know that some of these people, they've been drunk off the Kool-Aid, for a long time, and they gonna be that way to the way they DIE, man. To the day they DIE. Like, they ain't gonna stop, man. And I'm not doing this for them. I'm doing this because it's too much misinformation, too much nonsense where people aren't really explaining the facts. So people like where I come from, they might be like, yo, I don't care. They don't care about, certain policies or, certain people that might vote for a certain person. Like, to them, they don't see it like that because they don't, they might not actually see the people. They don't really travel like that. So they're not really around certain places where, they can be affected. But either way, that last episode, man, it was, I really think if you ain't watch it, go back and let me know what you think. And, it was nothing but the truth. But this one right here, we debunking the GOP. Fact versus myth. Fact versus fiction. Like, what these folks be talking about, man? And do y'all realize the type of power, the type of hold this particular party has on the US of A? Just let that sink in real quick. Let that sink in. I don't know if y'all would get that one. But anyway, if we don't challenge the myths being sold to us, we'll keep getting played with the same lies over and over again. Decade after decade. All right, so let's get to the first one, man. Because let's just get to it. I hope y'all having a good one, too. First one, the GOP is the party of the working class. They really be having people believe in this. Like, yo, no BS. They be having people believe in this type of stuff. They are the party of the working class. Let me give you a couple of facts, man. They love to say that, that's cute, but the numbers don't lie. At the Trump's 2017 tax cuts, the so-called Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, the top 1% got about 60% of that. They benefited about 60% of that. They already filthy rich. The bottom 60%, they got around 16%. Crumbs. And that's from the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office. Not no liberal blog. Because y'all ain't, some of y'all don't want to believe the truth anyway. And you can't, that's not going to get trickled down. That's a trickle up. Yeah, that's a trickle up. You know what I mean? And why they told you these cuts would create jobs and boost wages, the truth is, it just barely moved once inflation hit. Where wages been going? You gotta have a certain type of skill. You gotta be crafted at something. Because if you look at the statistics and you ask around, because it ain't all about this. You can ask people, okay, what you getting paid now at McDonald's? Okay, 15. Is it up in line with inflation? No, it's not. Everything is expensive, man. And every day, your boy, the Trumpster, he's what? Lying, saying that it's doing great. Groceries are great, gas is great. So corporate profits exploded. Corporate profits exploded. And that's why you got all these billionaires. I ain't mad at them. Like, you know why? Because this is the system, bro. This is the system. So just because I ain't a billionaire, I'm supposed to hate you as a billionaire? Like, nah, I ain't even gonna do all that, man. Like, we gotta, there gotta be another way so we can get, the country can have better roads and better hospitals and all. But we gonna get to all that. The wealth gap got crazy bigger. I mean, people poor out here, y'all. Like, poor, man. In the richest country in the world, they say. That don't even make sense either. We giving money to Israel, Argentina, all of these countries, man. They got free healthcare and all that, man. I know out in Israel they do. Yes. Argentina, come on, man. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that. Y'all don't want me to start going, man. So that's number one. They're not for the working people. Let's get that straight. They not for the working people. Those are the facts. And we can look at the situation that's happening right now that people voted for. People voted for their farms to get, taken away. People voted for their profits to decrease. Why? Because they want to own the libs. You know what I mean? It's some type of all of that media that they watch, that ecosystem, it's doing its job, and it's doing it very well, I might say. Let's get to number two. The Republicans run the economy better. That kind of, correlates to number one. Just a little bit, right? So the Republicans are better for business or stronger on the economy. That's a myth. They're not better on business and stronger on the economy. If you really pay attention, Republicans, they thrive off of division. Plain and simple. And we could check the scoreboard. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, since World War II, Democratic presidents created twice as many jobs as Republicans. Why is that? Think about that. That's a long time, bro. GDP growth averaged 4% under the Democrats, 2.5%, sometime under that, under Republicans. In the national deficit, it's historically grown faster under Republican administrations. Historically. Because that power they crave, feel like you could do anything, spin anything. And that's not my opinion, bro. That's the Office of Management and Budget. So y'all gotta be mad at them. And Trump is in office now, so what? He's still lying about the facts. And y'all, what? The numbers don't matter. No, numbers don't lie. So if we talking numbers, the so-called conservatives, oh man, you getting the least return on your money. The least return on your money. So now, let's go ahead to number three, y'all. Because that was number two. Republicans run the economy better. That's a myth. They're actually the biggest spenders with the smallest returns. All right, let's get to number three. Republicans protect your freedom. Republicans protect your freedom. You know that's a myth. Let's talk about the word they love to throw around. And I'm telling you, man, I lived in Alabama, bro. Like, ma'am, sir, I lived in Alabama. They love that word freedom. You ain't gotta say nothing, no, man. Freedom! Anyway, you're banning books. You're restricting who people can marry. You criminalizing women for making medical choices and making it harder to vote. So, what freedom are you really protecting? You can't even gamble. You can't play the lottery in Alabama. So what freedom? They want the freedom, like I said in my first episode, they just want that gun, man. They just want them guns and 100 of them and big ones. Because I just feel like, man, they got that energy, like they just want the world to end. Like, because who else is going to be, like, some of us are really, really from that claw, been in warfare, been in type of situations, and, it ain't nothing to glorify. So it's like, this is what y'all really want to do? All right, say no more. But they love to throw that word around. It drives me crazy sometimes, bro. Like, that's what I be hearing. It's like a trigger for them. You see what I'm saying? Because you banning books. Who's banning books, bro? Why you want to ban books? Who does that but some backyard people in a country that's trying to have control? And I don't want you to read this. How, like back in the day with the slavery stuff, like you can't read. Like, yo, we don't need you to understand anything. Because then you're going to be saying you're woke and we need you to be asleep. You know what I mean? Like, come on, knock it off. Over 20 GOP led states passed near total abortion bans. And look, who am I to tell a woman what to do with their body? We need to pass something, especially for these, these old white guys, bro. Like, yeah, we gotta pass something for y'all. We gotta neuter some of y'all, bro, so y'all can stay away from these children and stay your prying hands away from these young women. Yeah, and see how y'all like it too. Cause y'all wanna be always like y'all God or something. Like, yo, yeah, you can't do this and you can't do that and you can't do this. Like, yo, mind your business, man, for real sometime. So, over 20 GOP-led states, like I said, I try to stay away from them GOP-led states. I'm not even going to hold you. And I lived in 2 of them. I lived in Indiana before as well. So I talk from experience. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. I talk from experience. I've traveled. I'm well-traveled. And somebody had said in the comments or something, do research. Bro, I used to be a political junkie. I just don't watch the news no more because I know it's all really bullcrap. Because we're all under a system. That's just the truth. So people are going to be, and everything that we're living right now, it becomes normal. Like, it becomes normal. So it becomes normal to see these videos of, somebody calling somebody out their name an insult because of their skin color or, just all type of crazy stuff. But either way, multiple states made it harder to vote by cutting mail-in ballots and limiting drop boxes. Because you know what they was trying to come up with for that? Fraud. Yeah, it's a lot of fraud. Man, the cases, most of them are Republicans, and it's so minimum. But they gotta try to find anything. So, to stop these people from voting. You can just see it. It's plain and simple. That's why when people be like, well, why do you, it's like, what world are you living in? And schools across the South and Midwest saw book bans spike. I mean, they saw book bans spike to record highs, according to the American Library Association. That's not freedom. That's what you call control. Control of the minds, control of the bodies, control of democracy. That's what it is. And I feel like a lot of people are having a hard time grappling with the world they once knew versus the world they don't really want to know now, because it's spooky out here now. Because I can tell you one thing, black folks know. Like, black folks know. They know. We can smell it. We can sense it. Like, we know what it is. And it's been there. Now it's just like, oh, pull back the curtain. Like, yeah, this is what it is. Like, yeah, us versus them type of stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just how it be. And then, people don't want to accept that. But let's get to number 4. Republicans are tough on crime. Republicans are tough on crime. That's a myth. It's a myth. It's a lie. They're only probably tough on black crime. They'll tell you that they're law and order party. The FBI's 2023 crime report shows that states with the highest violent crime rates are almost all Republican controlled. Let me say that again. Are almost all Republican controlled. So I'm going to say about 95%. Yeah. Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, Tennessee. It's warfare, bro. Like, you know what it is. And yeah, they're going to blame it on, But I'm talking about, and not just black people, white people, like the rates are crazy, man. Crime rates is crazy out there. Blue states like New York and California, their crime rates have actually dropped over the last few years. So what is that telling you? It's not about red or blue. That's another thing I want to tell you, man. Cause some of y'all be thinking, oh, he's a paid anchor. No, it ain't about red or blue, bro. It's about policy, man. And until you get that into your thick skull, then you're going to understand just a little bit more about life. When you cut education, when you cut healthcare and community programs, you create desperation. You create warrior mentalities. You create something that you're going to ask years from now, where did this come from? And it's because of these type of programs. Healthcare. Like, people need their Medicaid. People need to be able to go and see the doctor. You know what I mean? People need education. The more informed you are, the better. So if I'm wrong on something, I don't got no problem with saying I'm wrong, because I'm not a freaking crazy psychopath to say I'm wrong. If you're around somebody and they could never just say, yo, you know what? I was wrong on that, man. Yo, my bad. Or, if they never, they're borderline a schizo. I mean, they borderline schizo, bro. Like, you gotta watch them. And that's how Trump is. You will never hear him. And all the rest of them, they never, even the prosecutors, some prosecutors that we have in this country, they won't even never say, I'm sorry to the innocent that they might have locked up for decades and decades and decades. It ain't happening, because in my eyes, certain people, they just lack that human decency. They might not even be human, because it's kind of hard to just, lie all the time and just, you never wrong, and, and then don't let the people love you, because then we in this mess right now. But anyway, so yeah, they not tough on crime. They're tough on the people while ignoring the root causes. They create that desperation, and desperate communities are going to breed crime. That's just math. 1 + 1 = 2. Come on. 1 + 1 = 2. Why do you think when there's a big storm or something, a big, whatever you want to say, something catastrophic that happened, and everybody runs to the grocery store and grabs all of this stuff, people start acting other than themselves. So if you constantly for years and years and years and years doing certain things to certain communities, it is what it's going to be. So let's move on. They not tough on crime. They tough on black crime. That's what I'm going to say. Because he just let all them dudes out January 6th. He done pardoned all of these child molesters, these child pedophiles. These dudes these dudes are like, there's some type of evilness I can't even explain. So, and you know what? Let me do a quick history lesson, man, on why Black America switched. Why Black America switched. So, this is something important, because some people have no idea. Like, they really, they don't understand why the majority of black folks vote Democratic. So I just want to make it simple as much as I can. The myth that the Republican Party is still the party of Lincoln. That's a myth. It's not the party of Lincoln. It's not the party of Lincoln. Yes, once upon a time, Black Americans were Republicans. All throughout history, you can look back. We were actually elected to positions and yeah, doing good. Back before, people didn't like that. The majority of people, the white people, they didn't like that. But yes, once upon a time, Black Americans were Republican. After all, it was Lincoln who signed the Emancipation Proclamation. So of course, that's going to be common sense. Yo, man, you getting us up out of here? But who hated Lincoln? It was the South. The ones that are the Republican Party now, because they were trying to keep the slaves. But we're not going to get... Right now, let me just finish this right now. So, during Reconstruction, Black voters were loyal to the GOP because it was the party that ended slavery and pushed for the first civil rights laws. But everything changed in the 60s. Mark your calendar. Everything changed in the 60s. Here's what happened. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965 were both signed by Democratic President Lyndon B. Johnson. We know Lyndon B. Johnson was a racist. He needed the votes. We was going to give him the votes because we wanted to vote. We wanted to be human beings and vote like how you vote. That was it. But that changed everything. That same year, Barry Goldwater, the Republican nominee at that time, he voted against the Civil Rights Act. So we was going to stay Republican, even though this guy and his group of people, a large group of people, didn't want us to have voting rights. They thought we were the immigrants. Then in their eyes, these guys shouldn't have any more rights than they have right now on breathing this sweet air in America. That's just how they felt. That's just the facts. So in response, 94% of Black voters supported Johnson, shifting allegiance damn near overnight. Word spread through the Black communities. We're going to be able to vote. We're going to be able to affect change. And that's why the 60s is such a tumultuous year, man. Just, and some of y'all, I'm telling you, you wouldn't want to be alive, man, because you wouldn't be able to handle it from the stories that I heard. So anyway, it wasn't about party, it wasn't about color, it was about policy and survival. It was about policy and survival. If we don't get to vote, we always gonna be last man on the totem pole. We ain't gonna be able to have nobody's ears. Somebody needs our vote, and we needed to vote. Why not? Why are we any less than the white man? So, then came what historians call the Southern strategy. Republican leaders realized they could gain white Southern votes by appealing to anger and fear around desegregation. Because you got to remember, like I said, it was a crazy year. Desegregation. People was not happy about that. White folks, they was up in arms about that, man. So, it was just always, that hatred, that anger. But I'm going to do an episode for all the great white folks. All of y'all. I'm going to have to do one. Because, man, salute, man, to all of my good brothers and sisters that are European Americans. Salute to y'all, man. The great ones, man. The good ones, the great ones. The ones that know the truth, they speak it. They don't have no mind with that. They're truth tellers. I salute y'all for real. Cause that's hard. Y'all get all of that's the white guilt. Oh, you're pandering. Oh, this, oh, that. So for y'all to just keep going and be like, nah, hey, y'all, I'm just spitting facts. I got nothing but love for y'all, man, for real. And luckily, you know, us black folks, we don't just judge one person for the whole group. Luckily, like it's in our DNA that somehow, some way, we don't judge one white boy for all the white boys in the world. Or one white woman for all the white women in the world. Luckily, like, we don't really have that, no. How some white people would say, well, yeah, that black dude over there, he did this, and then I seen him, and so I didn't stop, or whatever the case may be. But I digress. So that was the Southern strategy. In plain language, they traded the black vote for white resentment. Let me say that again. Republican leaders realized they could gain white Southern votes by appealing to anger and fear around desegregation. They traded the black vote for white resentment. And ever since, the GOP has used race, fear, and culture wars to keep power while giving little back to the communities that need it most. All of those rural communities. Have you ever rolled through some of y'all gotta ride through some of these towns and just take a trip around America and see what I'm talking about. It's supposed to be looking way better than what it is. People looking like they on drugs. The infrastructure is cracked up. It's looking crazy. It's looking like if you did see it every day, you might be filled with hate. Because if you thought somebody else had something better, or if your news, whatever news you listening to or getting on your phone that's putting all of these crazy, and you can't dissect the truth from the lie, and obviously people can't because Trump told nothing but lies for all of these years, nothing but lie after lie after lie after lie, lying. And it was nothing. It was like, I believed him. He said, like, what? That's when I knew. I said, I live in an alternate universe. I live in a whole nother world because I'm from New York City. I'm from where he from. And we know bullshitters when we see them. I'm telling you the truth. Like, you could just hear them. And this is going to be a survival in the city. Because if you can't tell, guess what? You're gone. It's a matter of time. But let me get on. So when I hear people say the GOP is for the people, I got to ask myself, which people? Who are you referring to? Because if you look at the record, the policies, the history, the outcomes, it's clear they protecting wealth. Not workers. Wealth. They're protecting wealth, not workers. They're protecting that bag. They don't care about you little manufacturers, your little laborers, you think they care? They know they could get 1,000 more whenever. Give them another $1. Give them another 50 cents. Give them a break on, give them a little something, but still have them working hard. So, I hope y'all take this, man, and do what you will with it. This ain't about being a Democrat or Republican. It's about being wise. The facts are there, the history is clear, and the proof is in the policies. And I was always taught, man, I don't care what you say. I'm going to watch everything you do, who you associate with. So why would I want to even be your friend if I know, you got somebody on the team that would kill my mama, that would do something to my cousin, that would hate on my auntie because, she's darker than you. Why would I ever want to be a part of a group like that? That's like plain and simple self-hate. I don't care if you told me, we're going to give you $1,000. Why? No, I don't keep your money. You could give me $1 million. I don't want it. I'm one of them type of folks, man. You know why? I honestly feel that while we on this earth, certain things can't be brought. You got to be yourself and stay true to those who poured into you. Nothing but positivity. Nothing but always having you thinking, always knowing, this ain't forever. So, I want to leave y'all with that, man. And the facts are there. So the next time someone tells you what side you should be on, ask them this: who's actually fighting for your future? It ain't the Republicans. It ain't Mike Johnson. It ain't J.D. Vance. It ain't Donald Trump. It ain't none of them. So Americans, the choice is yours. European Americans and African Americans. Yeah. Alright? So yeah, that's how we gonna do it. You know what I mean? And everybody got the little hyphen in. It ain't nigga you, because if you American, I'm more American than all of y'all. That's how I'm gonna say. Like, yo, come on, man, from the greatest city in the world, stop playing with me. You know what I mean? It's your boy, aka Dutchy Dutch. You know the vibes, man. Y'all know what it is out there. WYSE WORDZ. And we out like that.